So today we're pulling back the curtain on a common leadership tension. Why stepping into your next level role doesn't always feel like leadership. If you've ever been promoted from within your team, or you're struggling with feeling too visible, or you've hesitated to take up space in meetings that you now lead, then this conversation's for you. We're going to explore the identity split between being relatable and being respected. That subconscious push-pull of peer versus boss, and why feeling uncomfortable with praise might be pointing to a deeper self-trust gap. Plus, I'm going to share a real client story that brings us all to life. So stay with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll understand why you're not broken and exactly what to do when your title says leader, but your body still feels like the team member who used to take the notes in that meeting. Let's get started, shall we?
You're the one they turn to, the calm one, the capable one, the one with the answers. And yet, beneath it all, you know there's more available for you. More energy, more clarity, more unshakable presence. Welcome to Project Joyful, the podcast for health-centered leaders. I'm Tracy Tutty. Here, we speak to the part of you that knows leadership isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more fully who you are. So let's begin, shall we?
So let me start by painting the picture. So you're in the Monday stand-up. The team looks to you, but there's a beat of silence. Decisions float in the air like no one wants to own them. You hesitate, not because you don't know the answer, but because somewhere, deep down, you're still waiting for the boss to speak up. And then it hits you. It's supposed to be you. So you make the call. But as the words leave your mouth, your voice lifts at the end of the sentence. So it sounds more like a question than a direction to the team. Later that week, you're copied in on a glowing email. It's from your boss's boss, and it's commending you on a job that you've done well. It sounds like a moment to celebrate, but instead you feel awkward, uncomfortable. Because when your authority is reflected back to you before it feels fully integrated within, even praise can feel like pressure. Your subconscious doesn't yet trust that visibility and power is safe, so it misreads recognition as risk. And when your old colleague, the one you used to vent to over Friday night wine, asks how the new role is going, you smile, you say it's great, but your chest tightens, just slightly. The smile sits a little too high on your face. It's held for a beat too long. It's like your mouth saying one thing and your nervous system isn't quite so sure. Your body isn't quite convinced. Because you're not sure if you're allowed to say that it feels lonely. This is how identity tension might be showing up for you. You hesitate before giving feedback to your former peers, people who used to be your equals and now report to you. You're their boss, but it still feels like a stretch to step fully into that role. Or you still go out of your way to be included in the banter, subconsciously auditioning for the closeness that you used to have. Or maybe you downplay your wins because you're afraid they'll think you've changed, or worse, that you've become management. This isn't about leadership capability. This is about subconscious safety. Your mind knows that you're the boss. Your nervous system doesn't yet believe it. And until it does, well, you're going to continue to experience this identity split. Not just between leading and connecting, but between who you are now and where you used to belong. That rift distances you from the leadership team because on some level, you don't quite feel like you're one of them yet. So you seek belonging where it used to live, in your old team. And even though your role is shifted, your nervous system's still craving the familiarity of that connection. But that connection now comes at a cost. Clarity, confidence, and the authority that your new seat requires. And the cost doesn't just end there. It subtly shapes the entire ecosystem around you. You question yourself in meetings. Your team picks up on it, even if they can't name it, and their confidence mirrors yours. At home, you're answering emails with one hand while reheating dinner with the other. the tension doesn't clock out because there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's a myth. You take work home and you carry home back to work. Misalignment isn't something you can compartmentalize. It ripples through your team, through your family, through your sense of self. Because here's the deeper truth. Leadership is not just a skill set. It's an identity shift. And for high-achieving women who rose through the ranks as dependable peers, the subconscious fear of being too much is still running the show. That fear is not irrational. It's ancient. It's tribal. To be excluded was once considered to be unsafe. We evolved in a world where safety came from being liked, from being accepted, from being seen as useful. You didn't have to be the strongest in your tribe, but you had to belong. To be cast out from the group wasn't just uncomfortable. Quite frankly, it was dangerous. And your mind, well, it's still running that ancient track. That's why we don't believe a word we think. Because your thoughts are trying to keep you safe, but it may be running on an old program. And so it's not necessarily telling you the truth. So when leadership visibility feels like a spotlight you didn't ask for, when your authority subtly shifts your place in the group, your subconscious reads it as a risk. Not because you're unsure, but because your biology still equates belonging with survival. So when your team laughs a little quieter when you walk in, when you sense a whisper of distance that wasn't there before, your subconscious registers it as a danger. That email praise from your boss's boss, your subconscious reads it as a risk. Now they'll really see me. Now I have something to lose. But what if I told you that being fully seen isn't the threat? It's the gateway. You don't have to choose between relatability and respect. You're not stuck being either one of the girls or the cold boss. That binary's a lie. The real question is, can your nervous system hold the visibility your role requires? Because leadership doesn't just ask you to show up. It asks you to be seen, fully, authentically, without flinching. And when you haven't rewired the subconscious fear of being seen in power, you'll keep self-sabotaging that power. You'll over-explain. You'll over-connect. You'll delay decisions that really should come easy. But here's the shift. When your subconscious knows it's safe to be seen as the leader, your presence shifts. Your tone anchors. Your team feels your clarity and begins to trust their own. This is what we do in neuroidentity coaching. We evolve the outdated subconscious constructs that were built for a different season of your leadership. The parts of you that still believe belonging means staying the same. We update that internal wiring so that you can feel safe belonging to the peer group you've already earned without needing to shrink, to overgive, or to keep one foot in both camps. Because, let's face it, you can't play for both teams and lead effectively. End of. Leadership isn't about fitting in. It's about feeling at home in the seat that you've chosen to step into. So if you're navigating the shift from peer to leader, especially if you were promoted internally, here's what I want you to know. Feeling like a fraud doesn't mean that you are one. Feeling uncomfortable with praise doesn't mean you're not worthy of it. And yes, you can hold both empathy and authority without sacrificing either. But not if your subconscious thinks one of those traits will get you cast out of the tribe. Your system's wise. It's trying to keep you safe. But safety doesn't come from blending in. It comes from aligning your inner world with the power you've already claimed. So let me say this clearly. You didn't get promoted because you were popular. You got promoted because you're powerful. Feel that. Feel how that lands in your body. And that power doesn't have to be hard or harsh. It can be graceful, calm, quietly potent, but it needs to be integrated. Or else you'll keep second-guessing the very leadership that got you here. If this episode resonated, let it be a cue to pause. Not to fix anything, but to notice where your leadership still feels negotiated or where your nervous system hasn't caught up to your success. You don't need to jump into anything. Just start by asking, what would it feel like to lead without the inner split, to belong without having to blend, to hold authority without apology? Until next time, my friend, breathe deep and lead true. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.